Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us this evening, and welcome to the Life's Work Celebrate 50 Gala.
"50 years ago, if you had a child with a disability, you really did not have any options. And then Willowbrook opened on Staten Island, and families believed that it was a place that would offer treatment and education for a better life. And as we all know the story, sadly, that's not what was the case. Over time, we were fortunate. We had people who supported the cause. Many parents, including our founder, Vicki Schneps, and they advocated for group homes, and that's how Life's Work began as well. Life's Work purchased its first group home in Little Neck, Queens, and in the 50 years since has been giving people with developmental disabilities, intellectual challenges, and autism a true home, a foundation of services designed to give them the tools and support they need to maximize their capabilities and realize their potential. Everybody knows about Life's Work. It's because of our quality. But how do you define quality? How do you create quality? It's from the staff and the programs. It's from the staff and the administrative departments. We hire people who are smart and caring, who have a heart, who have compassion.
It really means a lot to us to support people who don't typically have supports in their homes to get them through their everyday life.
He's come a long ways. I mean, this was a kid who couldn't talk. This was a kid who couldn't behave. He had horrible OCDs. Now you have a kid that you can pretty much take anywhere. He talks all the time. He's a computer whiz, and he's just grown.
The FCA supports families by offering a wide variety of programs and services for people with autism.
It's a place for everyone. It's a home away from home. It's an environment where parents can send their loved ones to learn and socialize. I often say, when you teach a person with autism, they end up teaching you. It's a profound joy to serve our community.
They know that their loved one is in a space or in a program or an environment that they're cared for. They're looked after. They're building the independence that they need, and we're there to guide them.
Our quality services, our amazing staff, our innovative person-centered resources has made Life's Work a recognized leader in the field. This year marks our 50th anniversary. That's 50 years of advocacy and pioneering progress. 50 years of empowering people with developmental disabilities and autism to live a better, fuller, a richer life.
People say they feel like their child turns 21 and they fall off a cliff. Well, we didn't fall off any cliff. One of the things I love is it's not one size fits all. It's morphing over time. It's based on what's going on around them. It's based on the children's needs. It's based on so many factors, and how great that it keeps changing to make things better.
Today's Life's Work serves more than 2,000 people with developmental disabilities and autism, and their families. We provide behavior intervention, day programs, we have family guidance programs, and 7 days a week, we offer families a therapeutic environment with classes at our Family Center for Autism. We have plan giving and trust services, respite services to give families a break and have their child in a safe environment. And in the 50 years, we've created 50 homes in New York City, Queens, Nassau, and Suffolk, serving over 300 people, giving them a life.
Hi, I'm David Walker, one of the Life's Works employees. We're at the Philomena House, one of the sites. Over 50 years of incredible service. I got some people I want you to meet, all right? Come on. Hey, y'all.
Good morning.
How y'all doing? Good morning.
50 years.
This is our team. We got Ray here. We got Anthony. We got Erica. We got Jose. We got Dawn. We got Joe. We got an incredible staff. Jeanette, Michelle, K-Ron.
Erica, say hi.
K-Ron on the camera. So wait, who wants to sing with me? You want to sing with me? We're going to say, celebrate.
Celebrate.
50 years of a real good time.
50 years.
Say celebrate. Say celebrate. Come celebrate with me. Come on, Jose, you gonna sing with me? Say celebrate. Hit that note. Say celebrate. Say celebrate. Celebrate. Come celebrate with me. 50 years of an awesome time.
Celebrate with us. Celebrate with us.
Happy 50th anniversary.
Happy 50th anniversary. Celebrate with us. Celebrate with us. Happy 50th life's work. Yay!
Celebrating 50 years life's work.
Celebrate with us.
Celebrate too, guys. Come on.
Celebrate with us. Celebrate with us.
Celebrate with us.
Celebrate 50.
Celebrate 50.
Celebrate 50.
Celebrate 50.
Celebrate 50.
Celebrate with us and help ensure that what I started 50 years ago continues. The torch will be passed. So please be generous and help us continue our legacy.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Life's Work Interim CEO, Matt Zabato.
Hey, did you hear the one about the guy who thought he was retired? I know, it's not that funny, kind of a sensitive topic. And anyway, I frolicked in the sun on the beach in Florida. I sat in my lounge chair with my wife, read my books, and I had a great time for all of 3 weeks. So, I came back, and I'm glad I did. I'm so happy to be here with you. I am so grateful that you're here with us. Isn't it wonderful? We're out and about as COVID restrictions are being reduced. But the fact of the matter is, if not for two remarkable, sensational, miraculous people, I'm not here tonight, and neither are you. If not for these two people, Life's Work does not have 45 homes with a plan to open 5 more in the next year. 50. If not for our honorees, we do not have multiple non-residential programs. We do not have a family center for autism. If not for these two visionaries, passionate leaders who will never say no, who keep marching forward, there would not be a Life's Work safety net that stretches from the east coast of Long Island, across Suffolk County, into Nassau County, into Queens, into Manhattan, affecting 2,200 lives. There would not be that if not for them, because if not for them, there would be no Life's Work. If not for them, there would not be a new model of care that took people from the dark, draconian warehouses of institutions and placed them in family-like settings in community-based homes. Compassion, decency. They led the fight. They led the charge. I know it's sort of like Frank Capra, It's a Wonderful Life. How would our lives be if not for someone's life in our life? But fortunately, our honorees are in our lives. They are still leading the march. Years may have passed, time wanes. Remarkably, they go stronger, their voices grow louder, and thanks to them, for people with special needs, it truly is a wonderful life, and it truly is a wonderful life's work. Please, please, a round of applause for our leaders who just will never, ever say no to decency, fairness, justice. The great Geraldo Rivera, the great Victoria Schneps. Geraldo is the Dorian Gray of media personalities. Vicky Schneps is the ever-ready bunny of media moguls. And they still to this day are at the forefront of our march forward. We will not relent until we get to the promised land. You will hear about them much more as we go forward through this night. This is their night. We celebrate 50 years of life's work, changing lives, but we really celebrate 50 years of Vicky Schneps and Geraldo Rivera. We honor them tonight, but we appreciate them every day because if not for them, we're not here, neither is life's work. Thank you. Thank you. Now, I want to thank our generous government sponsors, some of whom are here tonight. I know Congressman Tom Suozzi is here, running for governor. I believe County Executive Bruce Blakeman is here. We did a presentation this morning. I want to thank our generous donors. And I know it's time, but when someone antes up $50,000 in a check, yeah, thank you, you must be recognized. Please hold your applause at our event sponsor level, which is a $50,000 check that this person wrote. Victoria Schneps-Yunis, $50,000. Thank you, Vicky. Geraldo Rivera, thank you, Geraldo. The Kafakis family, and our board chair, Lee Kafakis. Who also has two individuals on the spectrum. Vanessa Rogan, board member of LifeWork as a child in Subaru of America. Thank you, Michael Kafakis. Subaru of America, the gift that keeps on giving. The Manus Peace Foundation, thank you. Media personality, I think you probably know him, the ratings are pretty good. Sean Hannity. Host of the No Spin Zone, he is our keynote speaker, Mr. Bill O'Reilly. And Bill, not only want to thank you for your generosity, but I'm sure you already know the loyalty of your followers. As I was home not a week ago, 2 weeks, I'm getting texts. Matt, money's coming in from all over the country. Hawaii, Washington, California, 25, 50, 100, 250. Because Bill was making appeals in support of this event. So thank you to your loyal donors. Our $25,000 sponsors, Angela and Rami, Hudson Regional Pharmacy. Loyal friends, great service, best vendor. Investors Bank, Mike Belia, thank you. People's United Bank, Stephen Santino, thank you. $25,000, Hub International, AmTrust Financial, Yardi, John Buren, Flushing Savings Bank. Haven't seen John in years, but always a consummate executive and leader. Thank you so kindly. It's kind of a shame that with the population we serve, you have to do fundraisers. That we can't just come together as a society and cover that base. These are fun. Unfortunately, they're essential. And tonight, we've already have a commitment of $800,000 to push us to $1 million. We're gonna get there. I'd like to acknowledge, before we get to the introduction of our honorees, our board of directors, please stand. Renee Flagler, Ron Agazi, please stand as you call your name. Gregory Kahn, Tariq Khan, John Murn, Mike Belia, Donald Barrett, John Lee, Chris Murray, Ed O'Donnell, Rick Ritacco. All right, that cost you a lot. Now, well deserved, of course. Vanessa Rogan, Lynn Tabacco. Ben, Phil, and Jerry. And Ben believes in altruism, and he also believes in passing the torch to the next generation. And Ben was kind enough to also already engage his young daughter in a group that is called the North Shore Professionals. They just held a third-party event. We didn't know what it was going to be. They called us the next day. Oh, we raised $25,000 for you. Okay, that's nice. How about our executive team? Please just stand and wave. Jenny Anthony, Lauren Apavelli, excuse me. Nikki Ferranda, Paulette Elbers, Mr. John Pfeiffer, John's a little lighter in the wallet after that one. Emily Samtani. You know, who says you can never go home? Life's Work has a proud history of 50 years. It was built by many, many people, but two key architects are here tonight. Welcome back, welcome home. You're always welcome, former CEO, Mr. Neil Schweifel. Another former CEO who now climbed the corporate ladder as CEO for a great agency that she's rebuilding on Staten Island, Mary Rafferty. Last but never least, with us in spirit tonight, and they've been with me, and their influence has been profoundly impactful on me since I came back as interim CEO. I rely on their guidance, their mentorship, and I certainly rely on their message to just lift people up and help them to be the best me they can be. My friends, the late chairman of the board, Rick Damastro, who succumbed to COVID, and my friend, former CEO, Mr. Peter Smerga, whose lovely daughter Nadia is here tonight. Nadia, please stand and say hello. Rick, I know you're here. I hope you enjoy the show. Let's get it going. So I want to introduce, actually I'm going to start to introduce the first co-honoree, Miss Vicky Schneps. But you know, I know Vicky on stage. I know Vicky as just somebody with tireless passion and irrepressible energy. She's always connecting dots and raising money. I know her on stage. I don't know her behind the scenes, and I think sometimes to know the core of a person, you need to know them behind the scenes, off the stage. Nobody knows that like a family. So with that said, I yield to Mr. Dave Goldberg. And before somebody comes up and slaps me, I want to thank you so much.
So I remember as early as 7 years old going to the facilities where my sister was. This was even before Life's Work had taken off and there were group homes. And I sat in the car like this and my parents came in, what's wrong? And do you want to know what happened to Lara? And I said, and I needed to know. And at 7 years old, my parents told me. And so from my earliest memory, I understood the plight of the disabled and I understood what my parents were doing. It was a part of me and it became a part of our entire family.
As a young mother, to see the obstacles that she was able to overcome and the changes that she was able to make in this world are remarkable. And I think now being a mom myself and to see what she had gone through and what she was able to accomplish is really mind-blowing. And then to see the strength and the way she handles herself day after day after day, putting one foot in front of the next, no matter what obstacles she's ever faced in her life, are just really remarkable.
She's loving, she's caring. My mother's tenacious, she's persistent. She's a connector, she's a negotiator, she's a mentor, and she's certainly an activist.
When I think of my mom, I just think of dynamo. She's this ball of energy, never stopping, absolutely unique, one of a kind.
My mom is the most passionate, hardworking woman you will ever meet. She has an unwavering commitment and passion to helping others.
And I think really the main thing that I could say about my mother, and the largest characteristic, is that she has chutzpah.
Whether she has to call like the mayor of New York City or some executive or whoever it is, but she's always networking, she's always making connections for people, and it really drives her.
Passionate, energetic, wow.
She has the energy of a 19-year-old boy on steroids.
When she walks into the room, their eyes light up. They all gather around her like a magnet, and they just love being around her. They love her energy. She just makes everybody feel so special individually, but also together, and really has taught us all the value of the relationship of family and how important family is.
I think she sets her own limits, and she pushes the boundaries as hard as she can.
If I had one thing to say to my mom, I would want her to know how much I love her and how proud I am of her and how much she inspires me as a mother and also as a social worker. Because if it wasn't for her and to know the plight that my family went through, I wouldn't be the person that I am today.
Wow, that was a great video. They made us look really good. Mom, come on up here. She is a force of power to be reckoned with. But what I will say is that hopefully all of you know how much my mom cares for life's work, how much she cares for those with disabilities. And if you don't, I can assure you she does by simply saying there is no way in hell that my mother would allow our media to promote, to go on television and promote, to go pushing and friends to give to anything that you've been associated with for 50 years. To be able to see how much time has gone by, yet to this day, you still don't give up. And you still fight for the rights of those with disabilities, like Lara was with us today. And you're a great role model. And there's no trying, there's just doing in your life. And we love you, and congratulations.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's really an extraordinary night to bring together people who have cared for so long, who have fought a war. Because, remember, Geraldo, there was a book called The Willowbrook Wars, because it was a war zone that we were in. Fighting for Lara, fighting for the children, 5,400 souls who were stuck behind those brick walls of Willowbrook. And I guess life puts you in places you never know. I had wonderful friends who said, Vicki, Lara's at Willowbrook. How can we help you? And so was born WORC, the original working organization for retarded children, women's organization for retarded children. WORC was friends who cared. And tonight, look at this room filled with people who have raised almost $800,000, but we're going for $1 million because that's what we need. You're saluting me, but I really want to salute the children who went through the war. I didn't know my kids were going to do this video, but I would like my children who are the passing of the mantle to come up, because Samantha, Elizabeth, Josh, Jonah, Addie, Morgan, Blake, please come up because the mantle is passing. I want you up here. And Lynn, I want your children and you, please come up because you are the future. Please come up. Please come up. Where are you, Gerald? Where is your sister? Where are you? Michael, you're here. Please come up. This is the future. Please come here. You are our future. You are the ones that have to lead us. You are the ones that have to make this possible for us to continue the mission. Because if you know children with special needs, they're special their entire lives. It's not like you give them a pill and they're better. Our children need you every day of their lives. And I want to salute the children who went through the wars with us. Lynn, who has children with special needs, and my children who have really been my strength and my support during my, what I call the roller coaster ride of my life. And I think we have to recognize the ones who have supported us and have the future for our lives, to be able to make it meaningful and to continue. So this war never ends. The money we raise is going to go, please God, because the Kafakises are donating a building that will be a training center, and that money you raise will go for the future. The future is right here on the stage, and the future is right here in this room. There are angels amongst us. Can I ask everybody who's either on the board or works for Life's Works to stand up? Please take a bow, because you are the angels that make us continue to grow, to continue to serve, to continue to be. Without you, there is no Life's Work. And in this room is a little 90-year-old woman who you think I'm powerful. Well, Geraldo, do you remember the days with Willie Mae Goodman? Willie Mae Goodman was the first case that my husband Murray, as a lawyer and as a warrior, fought her fight. Brittany, would you please stand up? 90 years strong and still fighting for her daughter, who was at Willowbrook and was a powerhouse and still is today. 90 years young. So our legacy continues. It's really started with Goody, because that was Murray's first case. She called this young lawyer and said, they're going to close my place and bring my people to Willowbrook. I don't want that to happen. And he filed the first case to make an injunction to stop them, and he stopped them, and he kept going. And so those children are now protected and in a group home as well. So I want you to all know that every dollar you give tonight, every dollar you give in time, every dollar you ask your neighbor to help, never be afraid to ask. I have some of my wonderful staff here, and they know my favorite expression. If you don't ask, you don't get. So keep asking, everybody. Ask your friends, ask your neighbors, because you know you are making a difference. So here's to the next generation, everyone. Thank you so much for this great night. Thank you.
It all started with my daughter, Lara. Lara was born and turned blue in the nursery, suffering brain damage that made her a 3-month-old developmentally her whole life. And because of Lara, we began a search to find help for her. But I had heard about a place where they had built an infant rehabilitation center at Willowbrook on Staten Island. But within a year of Lara's being there, the Governor Rockefeller cut the budget of the staffing at Willowbrook. And people were actually choking and dying. And my lovely ladies from Bayside became marchers and picketers. But I often say we were knocking on air. Nobody listened until a cub reporter was snuck into Willowbrook, climbed the fences, opened the locked doors, and told the story of what was happening behind those doors. And that was Geraldo Rivera. Geraldo, in his words, will never forget. He said, I can show you the pictures. I can let you hear the sounds. But how do I explain the smell?
That's my good friend and the founder of Life's Work, Vicki Schneps. That was over 50 years ago when I exposed the horrific conditions at the since closed, happily closed, thank God it's closed, Willowbrook State School. Today, I'm standing in front of one of Life's Work's 45, soon to be 50 community-based homes. This one is the Geraldo Rivera home. I'm so proud of it. Named by Vicki and Life's Works board in my honor. It opened way back in 1977. From Willowbrook to Life's Work. The pictures I can show you from here are of engaged people with special needs connecting to the direct support professionals. The sounds I can let you hear from here are of people speaking and laughing, but always communicating, always connecting. And the smells I smell here are of a great home-cooked meal. This is a family-like setting with 6 individuals who are here for life, at Life's Work. This is their home, and this is their new family. From Willowbrook to Life's Work, we've come a long way, but our important work must continue. Thank you very much.
One thing Vicki and I have in common is our height. But Vicki, thank you so much for all that you and my dad have done to help folks with special needs. My name is Sol Rivera. I am Geraldo Rivera's youngest daughter, and I'd like to thank everyone for allowing me this opportunity to tell my dad in front of everyone here tonight that I am so proud and grateful to be his daughter. Although I obviously, and although I obviously missed out on a lot of Dad's career, that's 61 years age difference for y'all. You can do the math. I've been blessed these past 16 years with many life lessons, most importantly, to care for those who need it the most. That's why Life's Work is so near and dear to my family and me, because my whole life I have seen the good that people like my parents and Vicki have made in this community. Through a group called the Friendship Circle, I have a mentally disabled friend named Alana who lives at home with her parents. We spend time together most weekends. We love and trust each other, and my hope is that Alana will have the best life. A life that people like Vicki and my dad have been working for 50 years now to achieve. But in the years before Dad's expose, many parents were encouraged to warehouse kids like Alana inside horrible institutions. Dad has a friend who has had a terrible experience similar to ones like Vicki's daughter and so many others have experienced. Many of you know him, Bernard Carabello. He's literally been around my entire life. Bernard has cerebral palsy. He's not intellectually disabled. When I think of the cruel fact that Bernard wasted so much of his life misdiagnosed inside Willowbrook, it makes me angry and very sad, but also proud of the wonderful, productive life Bernard has led since the expose, a life that otherwise would have been wasted. So today, I am very, very privileged to celebrate my dad and his work over the decades. He inspires me and encourages me to have grit, because that's what this whole organization is about. It is about powering through the tough times and building a community that we can all cherish. He's the most loving, attentive, and caring father. Love you, Dad. Here he is, my dad, Geraldo Rivera.
I'm so filled with emotion and pride over my wonderful daughter. It's I'm quelling on the one hand, so lleno de orgullo on the other. You know, we go Puerto Rican into it. But so just Erica and I, her mom and I, are so proud of her, and I appreciate her remarks. 50 years is, it's amazing how 50 years, half a century, where did the time go on the one hand, and then you watch the children, Vicky's flock, and to watch them grow, and the grandchildren and so forth, it's wonderful and life-affirming. And what is wonderful and life-affirming also is that people care. And it's important that the families of the individuals who are disabled care, but it's broader than that. There's a real sensibility over the last half century in this area, particularly in the New York metropolitan area, to Willowbrook. Willowbrook is, it's not just local, it's national, indeed world. It's notorious because it was so horrifying. And there are many elected officials here tonight, and the horror is the normalizing of that filthy, horrible, inhumane place. And there were so many like it. Willowbrook was the world's largest at the time. There were many others, Letchworth Village, many others in New York State and across the country. It was the way the Western world cared for people with disabilities, intellectual disabilities. Just horrifying. But since then, when I look back on the opening of the first home, I was so proud of it. My dad, my late dad and mom were so proud of it. It was the first thing that was ever named after me in my life. It was just, to see it and to see the people inside and to know that they're going to have they're going to live life to the fullest of their potential. So I don't want to lecture to the choir or preach to the choir here tonight, because we have a really renowned speaker here that I think will bring a fresh perspective. But I just want, before I introduce Bill, to say my whole life has been a follow-up to the Willowbrook story. I've never and will never attain that closeness to the gods as that experience. For all the things I've done, all the miles I've logged, all the people I've met, the wars and so forth, nothing will ever approach the liberation of an entire category and class of human beings whose humanity was being denied by a system that refused to recognize their humanity. So I am, from soul to now, I'm so filled with emotion, and you know, I say when I think of Willowbrook often, and it brings me always back those 50 years. But I don't want to go there now. I want to celebrate everything that's happened since. 45 of those homes opened and operating and wonderful. 5 more coming. The job Vicki and the team has done is so magnificent. But the man I want to introduce you to now is someone I think it's fair to say that until Will Smith smacked Chris Rock, it was probably the most violent reality television was me and O'Reilly every Friday. I mean, we came the closest to actual committing criminal assault on each other. Our debates over immigration, undocumented, illegal immigration, whatever you want to call it, were epic. Look them up. I mean, they really were quite extraordinary. O'Reilly and I have always related, maybe because we all, you know, me, him, Hannity, Brian Kilmeade, the Baldwin brothers, Howard Stern, we all come from like 5 miles from here. Maybe it's something in the well water. But the thing about Bill, a couple of things about it. You know, my career has had more ups and downs, I like to say, than the roller coaster in Coney Island. And there are times when I was in the lean periods at Fox News where the young producers wouldn't put me on, where the various shows would ignore me, you know, where it's easy to put someone on when they're hot, and when they're ice cold, not so easy. And people are always looking after their shows and what they should do. O'Reilly put me on every single week without fail. He demonstrated a loyalty to me that was extraordinary. And I will never forget it. And everything in our relationship has that as its foundation, that kind of loyalty. We were at White House Correspondents' Dinner in Washington, D.C., O'Reilly and I. We were taking the Acela train home the next morning. And a little lady came up to Bill and introduced herself. And she said that she ran an urban nonprofit. As we sat there, O'Reilly took out his checkbook and gave her a $10,000 check. He just had met her right there. That's the kind of person he is. So, generosity and loyalty. You know him for his prolific novels, the Killing series. He's one of the best-selling authors of all time in terms of history, right up there with James Patterson and the other, you know, the stellar crew. He has himself survived the cyclone roller coaster in Coney Island as well, and has prospered, and his generosity continues. He wrote a $50,000 check, as Vicki said, for this evening's event. And I really appreciate him, and I appreciate all of you who have dug into, you know, that money can be spent a million other ways. So I'm so glad that the donors have donated. I'm so glad that O'Reilly has come to speak at my charity. We're not going to duke it out. Instead, I'm going to give him a hug. I can come up to about here in his chest, but I want to thank you all for coming. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to introduce to you my friend and colleague, the loyal and generous Bill O'Reilly.
Thank you very much, everyone. And Rivera left one thing out, which is important, that the reason I put him on every week is that he paid me handsomely. Where do you think I got the money to give back to him? He wrote a big check. And the other thing is, nobody knows this, but it'll break next week. Will Smith did watch the video of me and Rivera before he went up and whacked Rock. He goes, if these guys can do it, I can do it. So congratulations to Geraldo and Vicky. Now Vicky I had never met before, last summer. So she calls me up and she says, well, I hear you're out in Montauk. So I have a little place out there. And I said, yes. She goes, well, I'd like to come and talk to you about doing a charity event. Now I knew what Life Work was because Geraldo puts the arm on me every year, and but I want. I'm a guy that believes in the cause. But anyway, I invited Vicky over, so Vicky shows up, and within an hour, my entire house is redecorated. I went, what happened? So I said, look, if you just leave, I'll do whatever you want. I had pandas on the couch, the little pandas. So when you see people, Americans, like Vicky and Geraldo, really helping other people in a profound way, it's not a cliche, then you have to respect and admire that. And I think that people who have been fortunate, like me, have to help. So in the year 1689, there was a guy in England named John Locke. And he was a philosopher, kind of quasi-politician guy. And he came up with the concept of the pursuit of happiness in 1689. Thomas Jefferson, a very learned and brilliant man, picked up on that concept and incorporated life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness as a right, a human right that had never been done before in any country on the face of the earth. All right? So, what is pursuit of happiness? What is that? It's kind of vague. We know what life is. We're breathing. We know what liberty is. We can vote and nobody tells us how. But we don't really know what pursuit of happiness is. So, what it is having an opportunity to succeed and develop your potential to the highest level. That's what pursuit of happiness is. Now, success can mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people. Mother Teresa was successful and she didn't have a dime, okay? But pursuit of happiness is being able, and the cliche is to follow your dream and all this stuff, but it's being able to develop your potential. Now, there are people who are born who really cannot pursue happiness, can they? With disabled, mental and physical, they go to war, they get their arms and legs blown off. We do a lot of charity work for the severely wounded vets, because I believe that this country, the United States, was put here not only for individuals to pursue happiness, but for a collective. We help those who don't have the opportunity we have. Now, if you think about your life, everybody here, and you're all looking really sharp, all right? It's a Garden City hotel. When I was raised in Levittown, I never really quite got over here, but I knew it was here. I was more in Carvel than here, but I knew, wow, look at that. So, all of us here have obtained some kind of success, and we were able, I believe, to pursue happiness, right? And the key to our whole society and the culture battle that we have, is giving everyone else that opportunity. And there are segments of our society who say, well, we don't have that same as the white privilege has or whatever. I throw all of that out the window. I don't buy into any of that. What I buy into is people helping other people to succeed. So what does life work do? Exactly that. Now the success may not be at the level of a CEO or the level of a professional athlete or a cable TV host, but you know, cable TV now, you might be able to do it. But we have a responsibility, we who have had an opportunity to pursue happiness. I certainly have. All right, I go back to Levittown, just a short drive, and older people who knew me when I was a kid go, "Why aren't you in prison?" I mean, that's what I get. My own mother, when I started to succeed, went, "How is this happening?" And I got a letter from my third grade teacher, Sister Mary Lorana at St. Bridget's School, and I swear to God, the letter said, "Billy, you still have the same expression." And it's true. So anyway, I don't want to belabor this. I want to say that I admire everyone here for being here and for trying to help people who need help to pursue happiness. And I think that this kind of a collective operation, life work, is a model for what we should all do. No matter what our belief system is, we can come together under that banner that we are lucky, we have health, and we have an intellect, and we have families, and we have material things. Those people who don't have those things, we should help them. And if we would all come together that way, and then we could sing Kumbaya together and all that, but if we would really all do that, then the country would be much stronger and a much more placid place in which to live. Final point. So, I believe that we are a noble nation, and that puts me apart from a lot of people who don't believe that. And I use my power in the media to promote that we are a noble people, 330 million of us. We are the most generous people on the planet. No country in the history of civilization has ever reached the level of generosity that Americans have reached. So we understand this. And now it is up to us, and Life Work is a perfect vehicle, to go out and proselytize a little bit when you're with your friends and family and people of means out in the Hamptons. To tell them, you know, I want to talk to you about this Life Work thing. You got these insane guys, Rivera and O'Reilly, they're on board with this. That'll get their attention. And then you kind of coax them in. So we are all disciples here. And I want to congratulate, 50 years, a long time. And you know what? Geraldo has not gotten a haircut in 50 years. But to devote yourself to helping others at a level this high, Geraldo and Vicky, I congratulate you, I respect you, and thank you for inviting me this evening.
Everybody, I'm back. Still not retired. But the night's kind of young. Anyway, couple of very quick items we've got to cover. They are exciting, they are innovative, they are a launching pad to the future. For the past 50 years, Life's Work gave people a safe home in a community-based setting. They gave them a family-like setting. We pioneered the concept thanks to Geraldo Rivera and Vicky Schneps. We look back 50 years, it's a proud past, but guess what? It's an even more promising future. Tonight is a launching pad into that future. And in 2022, we will be introducing, if you look at your screens, a new, innovative, exciting employment training center. Because now what our individuals need, they need a place to go during the day. They need people to meet. They need lessons to learn. We will be introducing in the very near future workforce, building confidence, finding purpose, a place for everybody. Stay tuned, it's going to move fast. We've put together a really, really talented, dynamic team. It's going to move fast. We already have a 24,000 square foot building on Stewart Avenue, and we are ready to rock. And we will, somehow, some way, address the hiring crisis. We will do our best to get it done. Michael, thank you so much. Michael Kafakis, leading the charge, partnering, and your wonderful family, your brothers, your relatives, thank you. And Lynn. All right. We started at 800,000, we're at 850. If we don't get to 1 million, we lock the doors. No one leaves. All right, just kidding. Hey, I want to call up because there's another great new initiative. Please, you got to bear with me on this and hush it, because this is something that has been in the making, overdue. The time is now. And to introduce it, and Vicky Schneps, please, Vicky, please, your attention, because this is about you. You don't need to come to the podium, but please, watch the screen. We want to introduce something, Vicky, that is in recognition of you, your legacy. You created it, and it will forever be about you. I want to call up Life's Work Chair Lynn Kafakis, Life's Work Vice Chair Michael Delia, to unveil what is going to forever be known as Lynn and Mike.
So sometime in hopefully July, if everything goes right, we are going to be naming the building our headquarters at 1501 Franklin Avenue in honor of Vicky. So Vicky, will everybody look at what we... It's very well deserved and long time coming. So thank you, Vicky, for everything you've done for us. For all these years. Matt, you need to be here anyway. So we've thanked everybody tonight. We have a couple of thank yous to do now. The first one is we'd like to thank Matt Sabato. Matt Sabato is our acting interim CEO, and we have to thank him because he's really done an amazing job, and we couldn't have done it without him.
It's a plane ticket.
You wish.
You know what the funny thing about Matt was? When Matt retired, Matt and I have known each other like 30 years. When Matt retired, for the first 3 weeks, all he did was post on Facebook pictures of him at the sunset, him at the beach, him with drinking, right? Then, I tell you a funny story. When Matt was asked to come back to New York Matt took a plane in, and he gets off at the plane in LaGuardia, and it's 3 degrees out, and he doesn't have a winter coat, he doesn't have shoes, and he had to borrow a coat from John to get home that night. Remember that? So, yeah, you know, one thing that, there's another person, Lynn, who's standing here right next to me. I don't think people realize how much work Lynn does on a daily basis with Life's Work. She has brought a different dimension to the board. I think she's made us all a lot better. But more importantly, her dedication to Life's Work is unbelievable. And she is probably the hardest working chair that I've ever known in my life. So, Lynn, this is a token of our appreciation, and I want to thank you for all your hard work and dedication.
We also need to thank all the volunteers who helped make this event possible. We also want to thank Dave and his crew, the band, of course the Garden City Hotel, our photographers and everything else. And we have we also special thanks to Tina Marino, Jennifer, and Ellie for helping make this event possible. Okay, now we're going to announce the winners for the Super Raffle. The e-bike is won by Tim Smith. So Tim Smith, if you go out there, you can collect your prize. Thank you. Oh wow. Or ride it if you prefer. The second prize is the Apple Watch, and that is run by Robin Havens. Yay! And the third prize, the TV, is won by Christine Hausner and Jeffrey Ranicasio. So you can go outside and claim your prize. Thank you all.
And last but not least, and I have to whisper that, on a count of 5, please say, Happy Birthday, Lynn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Happy birthday. Enjoy the rest of the show.